Happy Monday. Today for behind the scenes on having a home-based fiber arts business or indie arts business. I am working on a couple different things. I'm working on shipping. I had a sale, and that also I wanted to talk about kind of limited edition product lines as well as regular product line rotations, which is what brought me to the sale, which is what brought me to shipping. I wanted to show you a little bit of the back end. I use ShipStation, which has proven to be absolutely and a tremendously valuable tool for shipping. I obviously have this cropped where you can't see any information that you shouldn't see for customers or for my business. ShipStation lets you use both UPS, USPS, as well as many other shipping options that I don't really know anything about for being able to choose the best rate for your shipping, and it also auto generates from my website. So when people order off my site, it automatically syncs up with ShipStation and creates a shipping label, which easily lets me print things out in batches by weight or type. Okay, so I'm back. I wanted to talk about something in a little bit more depth that, I don't know, I'll probably touch on more because I think it's a really important topic. But today, like I said, what I was doing for actual work today really lended itself well to the topic of product lines. And I know y'all have heard me talk in the past about how when I first started out and I was just like kind of doing made for order stuff, and it was generally just knitting or crochet. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that I'm just telling you my story. That's what I was doing, was just made for order with knitting and crochet, and then I had things listed on Etsy. And my original goal with Etsy had just been like, I'm gonna try, like my big dream was I wanted to be able to be one of the highest ranking like first page searches for what it was that my items were. So let's just say red beanie hat. Like I wanted to be number one for red beanie hat. So anybody that was looking for that sort of a thing, or I was doing vintage or like kind of retro inspired patterns, I wanted to be what you would find on Etsy. And then I was making them one at a time. So that was my original plan. And then once I started working more seriously and looking more into doing that, I stumbled into learning about product lines, and then it seemed so obvious that I was kind of embarrassed that I hadn't seen it myself and that I needed someone else to tell me, which I think is one of the big reasons I'm making the series. Is so much of this, it's like once you know it, you're like, well, duh, that's common sense. But it's like you need someone, or at least I needed someone, to kind of like put it in front of my face and be like, okay, here you go. And if you look at Target, I mean, whatever brand you like, I use Target, like Skims, Yeti, Eddie Bauer, like whatever it is that you enjoy. I try not to get too many emails coming to my inbox, as all of us try not to, but I do follow, like I said, for example, Yeti. And I will get their emails because, between my husband and his camping stuff and the girls and their like new obsession with having a million different cups, we go through a lot of that sort of thing. And even if I'm not buying it, they are a great example of having kind of continuous product lines that also get supplemented in with like special colors. So they had like, last year when everything was about pink, they had a special pink that I loved. And then, in the summer, they'll have summer colors, and, they have kind of different releases. And you can notice that with, like I said, Target, another great one. I mean, who's not getting emails from Target? Maybe it's just me. But there's so many different, you got like your back to school product line, and then, oh my goodness, it's Halloween. And you can see all of those smaller seasonal product lines that also, like I said, if we're talking about Target, they have kind of their main, like, let's look at Target, their up and up brand products. So all the time they have, let's say, their Target brand laundry stuff, and then they have their Target brand bedding stuff, and all of their usual things that they have, they will spotlight in emails and in commercials and whatever, like, hey, this week, all bedding is 10% off, and our bedding is made from, I don't know, whatever it is they're saying about that. So those will be their main lines that you will see, that they kind of, even though there's nothing new and exciting going on with like Target's sheets, let's say, for that period of time, they're going to tell you about them. And they're going to tell you, you've got these different types and they're made out of bamboo and they wash and they have mermaids on them, or, whatever it is they're wanting you to know about their sheets. So that would be their regular product line that is being highlighted and cycled throughout the sales. And like I said, you'll start noticing this with everything. While, like, let's say their Halloween stuff, because I love Halloween, and that's about to come out. That's going to come out, and so then that's a seasonal product line where it's, everything is like 1960s groovy ghost. So groovy ghost is the thing, and so then all of their promotions are going to be, obviously falling in line with that idea. And then also kind of peppering in between like groovy ghost and then sheets, groovy ghost and cleaning supplies, all the usual, like, oh, hey, look, we have groceries. So you'll notice the product lines will switch between seasonal limited edition stuff and then the mainline thing. So when I started looking at that on my business, that really helped me to get a better understanding of how to market to people. If you've been with me for years now, which some people have, I'm always, makes me happy when I see certain people's names over and over again. When I first started trying to implement the product line thing into what I was doing very much kind of like quarter collections, like maybe once a quarter. And I feel like that's pretty common for most people, especially with more of a handmade or creative business, is you're not going to be turning it around necessarily as quickly, at least for your main line. So then my mainline stuff, my original goal was, I think I had like certain natural types of yarns, and then I got into spinning fibers, and then I had my Spinolution products. So those are kind of my main line that you can always look to for me to have. So if you look at my website now, an example of that would be Spinolution. Obviously, I always have Spinolution, so that's definitely a big part of my main regular product line. And then like the Galler yarns, I don't carry a lot of different yarn types, but I have Galler and Satari, and then a couple kind of alternating in kind of custom brand yarns that I like to carry that are, more natural small farm. So you'll find all of those on there. Those are going to be my kind of all the time offerings that you can find on my website. As I got into digital courses, you might not think of that as necessarily a product line, but those are, at least in my mind, something that is always offered on my site. So you can go to my site and you can find my courses on, drop spindle or intro to spinning wheel or knitting, the knitting launch pad, on my website. And when I do come out with new trainings, those get added to it, but the courses themselves are always there. So I would, in my brain, consider that part of my main product line. What I have kind of fallen into that I think makes me a little bit different than most people, so that would be, or let me not get ahead of myself, those are kind of my main product line offerings. And I have changed that obviously over the years as what people are buying has changed, and as, what I can get from farmers and mills, in the past few years, people have come and people have gone, and, so I've had to adjust my offerings accordingly there. But my seasonal or kind of special product lines weave in and out of those main offerings. And so for me, that would be like a Christmas fiber or Christmas bats. I think we had some that were like I Smell Snow, and they were like blue and white and silver. And then we had, for about 3 or 4 years, I would do, we had a succulent bloom collection that was cotton yarns that were dyed. It was sock yarn, these pretty succulent colors. I had patterns that went along with that. That would be a seasonal product line I did. And also for about 3 or 4 years, and I may bring it back this spring, due to popular demand, we did a Bee's Knees sock yarn collection that I also did collaborations with Dawn with Twice Sheared Sheep. She has a beautiful like knee-high sock pattern that you see how that went together, as well as, little knitting accessories that would go with that yarn. So those are some different kind of seasonal collections. For spinning fiber, every July I have done the Fiberworks, which has been kind of firework inspired or different fiber texture. We did kind of Fiberworks that were different textures and colors all together, but I've always done kind of a special braid in July. So those are all seasonal ones that come in and out of my main marketing. So I promise I am making a point. So I'm rounding the corner to making a point on marketing. With all these different seasonal collections as well as main collections, the way I market that is in a cycle. And I actually have a Trello board, which I will show you the wonders of Trello for organization. It's just a website or an app in another video. But I cycle through at the beginning of each month. I look at what am I going to be highlighting from my main collection. So it might be, the Galler Wow. Versatile, that's kind of my I can't talk. That would be one of my more workhorse, versatile is what I was trying to say, yarns. So that might be, I'll pick a couple different things from my main product collection. So maybe like a yarn, a certain spinning wheel to highlight, maybe a certain course to highlight. So I will pick things from my main collection to highlight or put on sale, or maybe do projects around, patterns around a blog that maybe feeds into it somehow. So that's how I'm promoting from month to month to keep just kind of a buzz going on my normal offerings that I have on my website. And it also gives people an opportunity, if they've already bought, let's say, Galler Wow, and they love it, but they're like, oh, it's a little pricier than I normally want to spend. If they're getting my emails, that then motivates them to keep opening my emails to see when the stuff that they're really excited about is going to have a coupon or be on sale, or maybe have a pattern that goes with it and they already have some. So that is how I would use cyclical kind of excitement for my regular collection. So each month, and that's just fun for me. I like getting to do that. So that's definitely something I look forward to, is kind of like what I get to highlight. And then that dictates what my content, because I'm also very much a content creator. So that helps me dictate kind of what my content is going to be from month to month. So that kind of gives me things to get excited about, for videos to make, tutorials to do, etc. And then I also look, while I'm planning that, at what seasonal things might I have. So, it's August now. Last month, the Fiberworks braids, I had, excitement about the fact that they were Shanico, they were sparkly, and my stuff's not normally sparkly, so like that was fun. It was July, and it was a lot of colors, and something that people were excited about that way. And so then that was a fun seasonal line that I got to kind of slip in to my usual rotation for marketing. And so that's how I have personally learned, and what has worked well for me, to kind of keep what I'm doing going and exciting from month to month, and not just for my customers, but for me, and to always have kind of new limited edition things, as well as your regular things that you carry. And then that brings you to the sale. So you kind of go into it with an arc of like, oh, it's this new stuff, and then obviously at the end of the month, you're gonna go back down for, okay, and I mean, honestly, not meaning to toot my own horn, I don't always have stuff left over. So sometimes I have things left over, and sometimes I don't. So if I don't, that has very much trained my customer base to like, hey, if you really love something when it comes out and it's limited edition, you better get one. Or if it's part of one of my subscriptions, which I will do a whole other video on if you would like more information on subscription selling, because I know not many people do that. That's a whole nother topic. But if I do have a few, we usually shoot production-wise to have a few things left over from my seasonal collection, or I'll just run sales on a main product line. then at the end of the month or the next month or whenever my sale, kind of the wave has come down, those go on sale. And so then that triggers people to kind of clear out what I have. So they're happy because they got a good deal on something. I'm happy because it got, cleaned off my shelves. As, being at home, I have limited space, and then gives me money and shelf space to keep feeding into future lines. So I just ran a sale, and it went really well. I think it totally sold out. I actually ended up having I have an alarm going off. Ended up having a second email that I'd already written that went out saying, like, last day for sale. And I actually think everything was sold out before that second email went out. But I don't know, at least, I'm not going to feel bad about that. It, definitely, like I said, you want people that are buying from you to learn, like, hey, if I want it and it's there, I better get it while it, pull the trigger on it while it's available. So that was, like I said, what I was shipping things out for, which, as you saw, were our sparkle braids. There might be like one left. I'm not sure. I think they're all gone at this point. So if you're watching this, you'll have to stay tuned for whatever my next sale is. And I don't know, but that alarm means I have to go pick up my kids now. So that's all the time I have for today to tell you about product lines and sales. And I will show you a little diagram here from my book, and I hope that's helpful. If that's not helpful, please ask questions on this video, and I will try to answer them in a less, we'll revisit this topic, but that's the general idea. Is you want to have a main product line, and then you want to have supplemental product lines that go into that, so that you can have quarter by quarter, month by month, week by week, whatever it is you're wanting to do that fits your schedule to keep your marketing and customers excited. Here's a little diagram that is from the later section in my book, Feral. It is all about how product lines work, with a little bit more for visual learners that can be found in my book. And it definitely, if you like things written down, my book, Feral, the entire second half is on practical brass tacks kind of tips. Please check it out on Amazon.